Welcome back, sports fans and McKinney fans, and we are here to talk now about a little bit of Arkansas Razorback basketball, Mike. I'll tell you, a couple weeks ago we went and saw Arkansas play. Didn't look really good, especially defensively when we saw them a few weeks back. But the Hawks this week, two very big wins in the Southeast Conference. Of course, the victory over Alabama at home, 93-91, and then also going on the road and beating a fellow SEC team, Missouri, and coming away with a 61-60 win, Mike. Very good week for the Razorbacks this week.
Yes, Dave, I was at that game on Thursday against Alabama. Had it marked on the schedule. I always like to see Alabama come to Arkansas. Of course, you always like to see Arkansas beat Alabama. The one interesting thing about that game, of course, Michael Qualls went off all game long. You know, the next morning, there were two of his dunks, and he had four of them in the Sports Center top 10. Not to mention, we had the top play of the day that day, which was Bobby Portis's putback of Rashad Madden's, I guess you call it a shot. He was just trying to throw something up at the buzzer to try to get something up there to possibly fall in. And here comes Portis out of nowhere to save the day. But here's something I've noticed out of the last two games. Poor defense. We're not causing a lot of turnovers. But we are running a fairly decent half-court set. The problem I see, and you and I, as coaches of the vaunted Cotter Cobras, one of the things that we teach so hard to these boys is closing out on jump shots. And one of the things that I continue to see are three-pointers just buried in the face of Bobby Portis as he comes out. That's how the game went into overtime the other night. That's how the Crimson Tide tied the game before that exciting finish on, I said Friday, Thursday night. And really the same thing happened on Saturday afternoon in Missouri. And we had a foul with 3 seconds left, up by one, and thankfully Missouri missed both of those free throws. So we sort of escaped with the win. Arkansas is second in the SEC right now at 4-2. They could easily be 2-4.
Yeah, Mike. Right now Arkansas is at 15-4, 4-2 in the SEC. Of course, coming into this week, they had lost two straight and fell out of the top 25, and then they was in danger of actually losing two straight games at Bud Walton for the first time since 2011. But Bobby Portis, is averaging close to 20 points a game. Is really, you can see the development that's going on right now in Bobby Portis, and you can also see Michael Qualls, scoring 30 points in that Alabama game. He is really, seems to really be stepping up his game this year, and that duo is really stepping up for the inadequacy of Rashad Madden at point guard, as Madden continues to struggle as our senior point guard.
And, one of the interesting things, and you know how I feel about Rashad Madden. I don't think he's a very good point guard. The one thing I feel comfortable about Madden is when he's at the line. He's a 90% free throw shooter, and when he's at the line, I feel comfortable. When he's launching a 25-footer, when he's driving the lane especially, I feel uncomfortable. But one of the interesting things about Thursday, it was almost as if Madden and Portis switched bodies before the game, because it was Madden who was making all the big plays. He had 17 points. It was Portis late in the second half who only had 8 points. I think he escaped with 12 points that game. He has actually had two subpar games, 2 12-point games. The one thing that the Razorbacks have been doing, got to give them props on this, is they did not commit their first turnover in Missouri the other day until about 5 minutes into the second half. They had 3 turnovers for the whole game. Of course, they didn't create a lot. The Arkansas Razorbacks, Dave, create 6 less turnovers on the road than they do at home, which I think is part of their problem on the road, which, of course, their road woes are well chronicled and something that we all know has to be fixed.
You mentioned road woes. They are 12-36 away from Bud Walton Arena in the 4 years under Anderson. Of course, they're 2-1 this year. They did beat a Missouri squad that was 7-11 and 1-4 in conference. So Missouri is down this year, but that's a game that they're supposed to win. In years past, I don't think they win that game. I think they have matured to the point that they're winning games they're expected to win, and I think they can give teams trouble, later in the season, especially if you get to the SEC Conference Championship Tournament. I think this year they're going to the NCAA. They're performing a lot better, but I don't see them going far into the NCAA because of the lack of a true point guard, Mike.
I think they've got a couple options there at point guard that if they develop throughout the year, and if they're ready, there's the old adage that by the NCAA tournament there's no such thing as a freshman. That all these freshmen have developed and are really no longer freshmen anymore. And if like Antoine Beard can reach that point, we'll be in good shape. We've got some good pieces in place, but we've got to use this quickness on the court, on defense and offense, better than we have. And I'll tell you, the one and only, the legendary Errol Cheek made an excellent point on our last show that the 40 fastest minutes in the NCAA, which is what we have now, is a lot different than 40 minutes of hell. The defense that we play generally is full court the whole game, but is not as intense. Those double teams that Michael Qualls and Rashad Madden will put on you, those are big guys. It's hard to get through them. But it's not quite the same as, the Corey Beck throwing the defense on you back in 1992, 3, and 4.
Well, Mike, I do think we make the NCAA tournament this year. However, speaking of basketball, coming up in our next segment, we have some special guests that are coming on Sports Talk is McKimmie. I'm talking about, we have some Cotter Warrior basketball players that we're going to talk to. We actually have 2 seniors that we're going to visit with, the 2 seniors of the Cotter Warriors, and I'm talking about Tiger, T-Squared Tolliver, and also the Iron Man, Aaron Rowe, who brings the hammer, is going to be joining us for a special segment here on Sports Talk is McKimmie, coming up next.
She make me throw more bands.